I want to talk to you today about why bigger is better. When I was 4 years old, I went outside to play with the kids in the neighborhood. And some older kids, I think they were 6 years old, pointed at me and called me a midget and laughed at me. And I really managed not to weep in the neighborhood, because if you cry in the hood, you might as well move to a different country. And I ran home to my mother and burst in tears and said, "Mommy, Mommy, I'm never playing outside in the neighborhood again. They laugh at me and call me a midget. It's much safer to stay at home and watch MTV." And my mom looked at me and said, "You are now going outside. And I'm locking the door. And you cannot come home until you have at least 2 friends." So I went outside, because you don't mess with the Jewish Russian mother. And she locked the door. And I came back home only after I met Rotem and Limor, my 2 best friends, throughout the entire period of elementary school. This story is the foundation of my education. And it's also the foundation of who I am today. I was born 28 years ago in communist Romania. Now, the thing about communist Romania is that there is no medication, no painkillers, nothing. My mother is 22 years old, her first birth, after 3 days of labor pain in the cold snow, when all they did was to pour some cold water on her and to say, "Calm down, woman. Don't scream so loud." I, a tiny baby with an exceptionally large head, pop out into the world. The communist doctors gather around her and say, "Never mind. You'll have more children. You are more than welcome to leave this baby at one of the orphanages we have around town." My mother, passed out from pain, asks them, "What does the child have?" And they tell her, "Listen, the baby has short legs, which implies that she most likely won't grow taller and will be crippled. And she also has a large head. A large head implies of fluid in her brain. Fluid in the brain is a child which have mental retardation, which means you have a child which is both retarded and potentially crippled. Better luck on the next one." My terrified mother pulls me out of their hands, and we arrive in Israel. In Israel, the Israeli doctor simply said that the tiny child just has achondroplasia. So what do I actually have? A short biology lesson. Achondroplasia is a form of shortness. There are over 21,000 different forms. I lack a specific cartilage that exists in the arms and legs that is responsible of the lengthening of the limbs. My torso is normal. When I sit down, I am the same height as you. No need for a booster. And no, I don't have a heart the size of a peanut or a uterus the size of an ant. My internal organs are regular size. It's a rare phenomenon, not a genetic one, that occurs once in 21,000 births. By the way, the same missing cartilage that exists in the legs also exists in the nose. If you place your finger, your nose starts between your eyebrows. Mine begins between my eyes, which means that when you grow old, your nose will keep growing and growing, and mine won't. Mine will stay tiny forever. So they told my mother that the child is simply tiny. But my mother didn't forget the words that the Romanian doctor said, meaning the child won't walk, won't grow, will have a mental retardation, and it created a sort of an emotional detachment for my mother. A positive one. Not for one moment was she grieving over me. In her eyes, I was the most beautiful, smart, magnificent child that has existed on this planet, and this was said to me all day, every day. The first words I had to learn as a child, a baby, were, "Who is the most beautiful girl in the world?" I am. Who is the smartest? Me. This created narcissistic complexes later, along the way. She was so hysterical about the fact they told her I won't walk that she taught me to walk at the age of 8 months. They told her I won't be able to speak. I spoke fluently at the age of 1, Hebrew, Russian, and Romanian. It was like she was insane over it. When I was little, I was also smaller. So, for example, things like reaching the switch, climbing into my own bed, getting myself a snack from the fridge would take a certain effort. And anytime any one of my friends, neighbors, family would try to help me, give me a little push, assist the child, my mother would scream at them and say, "Don't touch the child, she needs to learn to manage on her own." Soviet. I started by saying that I wanted to talk to you today about why bigger is better. Well, I, ladies and gentlemen, have big dreams. I've always had. The first time I realized what I wanted to be was at the age of 11. We opened the newspaper and found children needed for Oliver Twist, a musical that will be produced in Tel Aviv. I went excited with my mother to the big city of Tel Aviv, and I stood in front of the director and did the first audition in my life. Not only did I get the part, but they announced that they will be writing a part especially for me. This musical made me take 4 trains, 2 cabs, and a bus every day, back and forth, alone to Tel Aviv for 2 years at the age of 11. And these 2 years were one of the most enjoyable, heartwarming, and meaningful periods in my life because I discovered in every single vein in my body that what I wanted to do from that point on was to stand on the stage and have a light on me and expose my soul in one way or another, which in my eyes is the essence of what it means to be an actor. When a girl discovers at such a young age what she wants to do, there are very few things that can divide her from it. Now, with all due respect, you are tiny. An actress? Please, where will you act? Oh, how cute, you found a hobby. Great, now invest in school. But I didn't care. I wanted to go big. I wanted to be an actress. And once the light went off on Oliver Twist and the production was over, we, ladies and gentlemen, have entered into puberty. The best part about puberty is that it eventually ends. During puberty, I understood. I was different. I also realized that there will be boys who won't want to love me because of the way I look. So I started having what-if thoughts. What if I go to sleep and wake up in the morning as hot as a babe with a normal height? And I started thinking about the surgery. There is a very brutal surgery that exists since the Inquisition days. What do they actually do? Break your arms and legs, break. Add screws made of metal, iron screws, and I would have to lie handicapped for a year because my arms and legs are broken, and I need to turn the screws on myself. Turn, and stretch myself every day by 1 millimeter till at the end of that process, I'd add 8 inches to myself. Now, my lovely dear audience, my height is 48 inches. Another 8 inches are not the sort of thing that will bring peace to the Middle East. And also, what does it mean? What does it mean that a person is willing to break their arms and legs for 8 inches? What are those 8 inches? I don't know. At that time, I thought I was very unfortunate and abnormal. And I remember sitting with my girlfriends. There you are. Hello. My girlfriends who were at a regular height. And I would say to them, listen, I'm not happy about the way I look. And I'm in love, and he doesn't love me back. And I wish I looked like Britney Spears in the video. Oops, I did it again with the overall head to toe. Cannot wear it, cannot wear overalls. And during these meetings, something interesting happened. My friends, who were at a normal height would say the exact same things. They were also unhappy with the way they looked. They also loved someone, and he didn't always love them back. And they, too, aspired to look like the conventional female physical images they show us on TV. That's when I realized that the fact that I lack 8 inches in my arms and legs don't make me any more different than anyone else. Everyone carries their own baggage. Some are not happy about their weight, their color, their family. Some have ADHD, some have divorced parents, and some have all of the above. Just because I'm missing 8 inches in my arms and legs doesn't make me any more different than anyone else. This realization, this feeling set me free. And slowly but surely, the sentences I heard from my mother about me being the most beautiful, the smartest girl in the world, began to sink in. And I started believing it, feeling it. And people began to respond to it. I realized that being pretty or sexy has nothing to do with looks, and most definitely not with height. It has to do with behavior, how you carry yourself in the world. Let's go back to this. In Israel, the next big thing after puberty is the army draft. It's a part of Israeli society, part of Israeli culture, and everyone does it. And it was clear to me that I will join the army as well and share my part. Although that in the depths of my heart, I just wanted to meet a hot soldier. They made it very clear at the recruiting office that people under a certain height and a certain weight, for that matter, cannot join the army, so I am more than welcome to turn around and go back home. What do you mean? I, who was willing to give my time, sacrifice my best years for the country and for the shidduch, for that matter, and they won't let me. Why? So when they don't let you in the front door, there is always the back door or a window. I volunteered to the IDF. I served 3 years, even though girls don't have to serve more than 2. First, as a soldier social worker, and later as a broadcaster at the military radio station, which is the most listened to station in the country. My military service made me rough. It taught me that nothing will come to me if I don't make it. At the age of 21, I finally realized I wanted to become an actress. I have to be an actress, and they told me, but come on, you are older now. What will you live off? How will you make a living? Go study law, work at the post office. But I didn't care. I started by saying that bigger is better, and you all smiled or even laughed. But you know, I really believe that. Life has the potential of being big if we only make them so. Today, I'm an actress. And I play at the Cama Theater, which is the biggest theater in the country. I acted at movies and TV shows, and I travel around the country telling my story because I can't help it. If someone was to say, but listen, we're giving you a pill. A pill, no surgery, painless. You swallow it, go to sleep, and wake up in the morning as hot as a babe, I would say no. Because if I were a regular height, I wouldn't be Bat-El. I am excited about life and about what is yet to come. So maybe you didn't have a Jewish Soviet mother like I did. But I invite you to believe as if you belong in this world. Because we all feel sometimes this world is too big for us to handle. I invite you to discover that your defect is probably what makes you effective, your strength, the secret of your magic, and to understand that nobody can tell you what you can or cannot do. Only you know what you're capable of. I believe bigger is better. I believe in big dreams, big ideas, big hopes. I believe in big love. I believe that no matter what shape or size you are, it's the shape of your dreams and the size of your courage to chase them that will determine how big your footprint here will be. So thank you, Mother, for teaching me all that. And thank you